There are about 500 people with glycogen storage disease type 1A in the United States. Worldwide, the numbers are somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 children.
Individuals with GSD, they're missing the enzyme in their liver that metabolizes glucose. Glucose is a fuel that every cell in our body needs to function. So without glucose, their bodies shut down. In order to avoid that from happening, they have to be fed frequently, which means it's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job. They have to be fed every few hours during the day, every few hours during the night. Most babies can't sustain that kind of feeding schedule, so they do get a feeding tube, which helps manage the rigorous schedule.
My kids have a very strict diet. They have to measure every single morsel that goes into their mouth. No sugar, no cookies, cakes, candies, fruit, anything like that. It is very difficult. They drink uncooked cornstarch. It's like drinking paste, if you can imagine that. And they have to drink it every 3 hours, every single day. Cannot miss a dose.
I was born in the mid-80s in Poland, and I was diagnosed with GSD when I was 8 months old. So my belly was pretty big. Now we know that it was because of the storage of glycogen in the liver. I had 7 seizures in my life. I actually have a problem with waking up in the middle of the night. I set 7 alarms, and sometimes I still oversleep. For now, I've got a backup with my parents because in Poland it's like 6 hours ahead, even though I'm 31. I'm supposed to text them whenever I take it, because if I miss my dose in the middle of the night, I could just not wake up in the morning. And that's the scary part.
Dr. Weinstein is the world leader in glycogen storage disease research.
When I was in medical school, I had no intention of doing glycogen storage disease. And in 1998, I was invited to the National Conference for Glycogen Storage Disease. The conference began with a moment of silence, and they read the names of all the kids who had died that year from glycogen storage disease. There was no research going on anyplace. And if there's no research, there's no hope. So over lunch, I decided that somebody had to care about these children, and I went back to Boston Children's and decided to create a Center for Glycogen Storage Disease. It was challenging, and there was no foundation anywhere in the world supporting glycogen storage disease research really at that point. I started talking to some of the families, and that's what led to the Children's Fund.
The Children's Fund is the only organization that is funding research at this time.
The Children's Fund is run just by parents, volunteer-based completely, and 100% of the donations go directly to research.
We've helped fund research for stem cells and liver transplants and long-lasting cornstarch and adenomas. One of the major accomplishments of the Children's Fund is having GSD added to the genetic testing panel. Glycogen storage disease is considered an orphan disease. We get no government funding, we get no corporate funding. Every one of these patients has a family, they have parents, some of them have babies now. These people deserve to be healthy, and this deserves to be funded.
Can you imagine a disease that's been turned from a fatal disease to one that people can do well with a gravy thickener? But it's still not good enough. All it takes is one missed dose of cornstarch, and a child could go from being an absolutely healthy person to dying, and that's happened. Even though we've made a lot of progress, we have to get the gene therapy and we have to get a cure.
Gene therapy worked in mice and it's worked in dogs.
Over the years, the Children's Fund has given over $1 million to support doing gene therapy in the dogs. In 2005, the longest surviving dog was 28 days. And we have now been able to do gene therapy in 8 dogs with glycogen storage disease. And not only are they surviving, but we have dogs that are now 7 years old and completely off treatment. Because of the success of the dogs, we are now on the verge of the human gene therapy trial.
This is a really exciting time for us because we have everything we need to cure this disease. We have the gene, we have the vector, we know how to get it into the body. We're funding research right now on the toxicology of the vector to make sure that it's safe to go into the body. And once we have that, we can start gene therapy trials. but we still need to fund those trials.
I challenge people to think about any other disease that has made as much progress as glycogen storage disease. We've gone from a disease where almost everybody died 20 years ago to one that we're on the brink of curing it.
We've come so far in 14 years since we started this foundation, and we need to keep going. If we don't have the money to continue with gene therapy trials and to continue doing research on what other technologies might be out there, then we're at a standstill.
The Children's Fund is the vehicle to get us to where we need to go. Day by day, we are reaching our goals. By the time Jamie goes off to college, we hope that GSD is no longer part of our vernacular, that it's a thing of the past. That if babies are born with GSD, they can be cured. And parents won't have to suffer the way we have, living in fear.
I look forward to seeing people get a full night's sleep. It's going to be rewarding to see people be able to eat food that has been off limits all these years. I'm very optimistic. I can't wait for this to happen. And I will gladly get another job after this disease is cured.
I'm a researcher that works for the GSD program, and I want to thank you. As having GSD myself, I know that it would really make a difference in everyone's life, just to be free of it.
You never want to be in a position that you have to ask. But when your child does have a disease and your child is suffering, you have no choice but to ask. We need help. We need money. Unfortunately, that's the only way that we're going to get this done.
We are so grateful for all of the support that we've gotten this far, and from all of our friends and family and supporters that have been here year after year. And we so appreciate every dollar you give us. And we're going to have a huge celebration one day when this is cured. And we're going to invite all of you to come and share with us. But we can't stop now, and we need your help, because we need to cure these children, because they deserve to be healthy.